Hello, welcome to the Citrus Garden. If you're new here, my name is Christina. If you're not new here, hi, welcome back. It's great to see you. This is a reading for Pisces suns, or if you have significant Pisces placements in your chart and are needing a masculine energy to work with or balance within yourself. So Pisces, I know it's been such a long time since I've done a reading. My sister was in town, so I was spending some time with her and I didn't have time to do readings. So we're going to get started on your reading today. At the bottom of the deck, this is the overall context. So you have purity, you have this wisdom card, and the trust card, which is really interesting. This one here was talking to me about, like, there's somebody, perhaps, so it could be you. There are definitely like two energies here, but it could be that it's like there's somebody in your life, Pisces, who is reflecting something back to you about yourself, perhaps, or this could be entirely sort of like a self-reflective kind of like, this is all an internal process, but it's being presented to me as being sort of like you and another. I feel like this is sort of the other energy, but again, keep in mind, if this is if this is being reflected back to you, it could be that there's some aspect that is true for you as well. So this egg moon card is talking to me about like something that has yet to hatch, right? It's like yet to be opened, or the full potential of it hasn't been realized yet. Whatever the situation is, it could be in regard to like a specific person in your life. It's like there's somebody here perhaps who is maybe stuck, is kind of how it's feeling. Like somebody that you care about, perhaps you as well, right? So fit this in your life however it applies, however you resonate with it. There's somebody or something or a situation that's stuck or paused or stagnant is kind of how it's coming through. There's no movement in this situation for whatever reason. And I feel like you may be witnessing this and perhaps trying to find the answer with this wisdom card. I'm placing you as being sort of the one witnessing a certain situation is how I'm gonna read it. So we have this release card in the focus, and underneath the release card was this the Emperor card, which I'm seeing as you because this is a masculine focused reading. So I'm seeing this as you, Pisces, like that you are, perhaps you are going through something similar where you're trying to release something, or you're being released from something. Because I sometimes see this Emperor card as being sort of like an external energy, like a universal kind of energy that like almost says like enough is enough, or it's kind of coming through as being like, it's almost like a justice kind of energy where it's like they're coming in to end a situation or something like that. That's the overall kind of energy, especially this being sort of like the first card to come out. Because I feel like there's something here with the butterflies. This is the other person that is in this situation. So it could be somebody that, like, because they're coming through as the Queen of Pentacles, right? So I want to say it's that, like, it's kind of like their outward persona is sort of this Queen of Pentacles kind of energy, right? So, like, very warm, very giving, very nurturing. But what's really interesting here, these two cards were reminding me of this story. It's called Strange the Dreamer. It's a novel, where there's this one character. I'm seeing this as you, Pisces, especially because it's Pisces. Very intuitive, right? There's a character in that story who has this sort of ability to, like, she like has moths within her, and every night these moths are sort of released, and they land on people while they're sleeping. And because of this ability of hers, I know it's so strange, it's a fantasy novel, the moths are able to, like, give her the ability to see into people's dreams. So that's the story. I feel like, I know that's so like fantasy kind of like out there, but what this is telling me is that you and this person, whoever this one represents to you, it's like you have the ability to see deeper into perhaps like their subconscious or like their dreams in some way, or like it's a very sort of astral or energetic kind of connection where it's like you, whatever it is that they're presenting to you, right? This Queen of Coins, like them in their real world, them doing their work, whatever it is, in a very physical, tangible, real life kind of awake state. This is what they're doing, what they're presenting. But then on a more emotional level, or in a more like astral or energetic or subconscious even, especially because like the half of the face is submerged, they're coming through as being the Five of Cups, which is really interesting. So it's like there's somebody in your life that you are seeing, or like perhaps receiving downloads or receiving visions, or being able to see into somebody's like subconscious or like their emotional state that perhaps they're not like fully presenting to others, because they are coming through as this like really powerful Queen of Coins, right? But it's like what they're not necessarily presenting is this sort of Five of Cups energy, which is really, this is a challenging card because it's kind of like, I feel like there's some, again, this is the stuck energy, right? It's like this is the one who's in the egg. They're perhaps their full potential hasn't been realized yet, or something like that. That may be how you're seeing the situation. And it's kind of like, because of whatever this is, how I see this Five of Cups card is kind of like whenever they try to leave, or they try to move forward, or they try and do something, there's some sort of energy that pulls them back in, is kind of how it's coming through. So I don't know what this is for them. It's going to be very specific to each individual, but how it's coming through, it's like, it could be like something that's really pulling on them emotionally. So it's like they try and take a step, or they try and do something, or they try and move in a different direction, but emotionally they get pulled back into this sort of like overwhelmed state where it's almost like they get pulled back under, whatever that means. Like they get pulled into their fear, or they get pulled into the subconscious, or whatever. It could be like their past memories or something like that could be pulling them back, or like is preventing them from hatching, so to speak. It's preventing them from moving forward or making progress or expanding in some way. There's some sort of emotional tug on their energy that's preventing them from expanding, because the next card here, so if you notice just the numbers here, 14 and 15, this action card is why I'm saying that this is sort of like, this is where they're getting stuck. It's like they're trying to move into this place, like being able to take action perhaps, or like just expand, like break free of this, or whatever it is, like trying to make progress. But they're getting stuck for whatever reason. Like they're being pulled back by something. Underneath this, you have the High Priestess, which is like, I'm seeing this as them, because it's kind of like this action card I always see is sort of like being it looks like a figurine to me, like a figurine, like a trinket almost. Like there's something about these two cards. It's like an active High Priestess was what I just saw. There was also, before I pulled the cards, I was hearing like a herald of change. So I don't know if that's for you. It's almost like you're heralding this change, or this is like a herald of change for the situation. Like there's change needed is kind of what's coming through. There's change needed in this situation. This High Priestess card is really interesting because I feel like it's having to do with like their energy. Because I feel like for you, Pisces, it's kind of like, I feel like, especially with this release card, it's almost like you're trying to help them release this thing, or whatever it is for them, from a distance, or like astrally or energetically in some way. Like you're helping them from a distance to try and get them to release whatever it is that they need to release. Because you also have here the Temperance card, which I'm seeing is you, and the Surrender, right? But it's kind of like there's nothing that you can really do on a physical, like, kind of like, you can't solve the problem for them. It's kind of how it's coming through with all of these hands, right? It's kind of like there's perhaps a desire to like want to interfere, or like interfere is not quite the right word, but it's kind of like you're trying to like I don't know, this card here, there's something here with the like the energy in the hands, right? There's a lot of sort of like the hands coming through. It's kind of like there's they're feeling tied by something. There's something like they're being tied, or there's like needing to break free of whatever this tie is, because I feel like there's something here with the self-reflection card as well. This is, I was trying to ask like whether or not this was sort of like a dynamic between two, or whether this was like an internal sort of self-reflection, and this card came out, which is telling me that whatever it is that you're seeing in somebody else, it's an aspect that's reflected within you as well. But whenever I see this card, I always see this as being like people who are like two people who reflect one another. So whoever this person is for you, they are a reflection of you in some way, is kind of how it's coming through. And I feel like what's really interesting about this is that the ones here on this side of the mirror are not in the water, right? And then the ones in the mirror reflection are in the water. So how I'm seeing this is that you, Pisces, I'm gonna frame it like this. So of course, feel free to flip it around if it's resonating with you like that, where it's like you are trying to reflect to this other person how to get free of this energy, right? Like it's like you're trying to pull them out of the water. The water here is representing this sort of like overwhelm or emotional, perhaps an emotional state, right? Especially with this Temperance card. It's kind of like this, like, because the one foot's in the water, right? So it's like, it's the water I'm seeing as being sort of like an overwhelm, right? There's a lot that can potentially pull you under, is kind of how that's feeling to me. That's how I'm going to frame it. Because of all this water energy that's coming through. And it's like, I feel like you're trying to remind them perhaps of their high priestess nature, because this card to me represents sort of one who understands sort of the moon energy, or can work with the moon. And that's also tied to the water aspects, right? There's like this sort of like high tide, low tide energy now coming through with this, which is kind of like, so the water energy, it is sort of a high tide versus low tide, which is to me talking about like, so perhaps like this roller coaster kind of energy, or like an up and down, or like sometimes they're in this sort of like really positive energy, and other times they're in this really sort of overwhelm, or feeling like they're being pulled under kind of thing, right? And so I feel like what you're trying to reflect back to them, or what they're reflecting back to you, is that there's a way in which you can like sort of keep your head above water, right? Because it's like the tide is going to be either high or low at any point, right? Like it does fluctuate. But it kind of feels like when it's high tide, they get pulled under really easily, right? When with the Five of Cups, they get overwhelmed perhaps really easily by this sort of shifting emotional landscape, whereas there is a way for them to like keep their head above water. Perhaps that's what you're trying to show them through this interaction, right? With the High Priestess and Temperance. This Temperance card has been talking to me about like maybe just like keeping busy in a way, like keeping That's not quite right, because I feel like for you Pisces, you're trying to show them something to do with the hands, or keeping your hands busy, or perhaps like this is you trying to find ways in which they can like pull themselves up out of the emotional overwhelm, because it's like the hands here are also being held. I feel like there's so much here, and I haven't done a reading in such a long time where it's kind of like I noticed this in my last reading where it was such a long time since I had done a reading that it could have been better is kind of what I was feeling. But anyways, the surrender card. The surrender card, I feel like, is guidance for you, Pisces, in this situation, because we do have here the 27 and 26. So I feel like this is you. It's like, I feel like there's been kind of like this energy of like you're trying to help them, is what's trying to like pull them out maybe, or like trying to like encourage them to move in a certain direction in a way that I feel like you can see would be beneficial to them in some way, but it's like maybe they're not ready to move in that direction yet, especially with this sort of egg imagery coming through, right? It's like you can't, in any sort of egg hatching animal, it's kind of like part of the challenge of the hatchling is that they need to break out of the egg themselves, because that's sort of, they're building some sort of resilience or skill necessary. It's kind of like if you break this egg open for them, it's not going to benefit them in any way. It's kind of how it's coming through. Meaning, that's what I feel like the surrender card is. It's like you can sort of guide them or encourage them to move in a certain way, but you can't break the egg open for them. They have to be the ones to do that. And that's why the surrender card is coming through. It's like there's a lot of things you can do, perhaps energetically, or like, because it feels very much like you're energetically trying to relay a message, or to like get through to them, or to encourage them to move in this way. But it's not something that you can do for them. It's something that they have to do on their own, or they have to break free of their own, or something like that, in order for them to gain the benefit or the knowledge or the understanding or whatever it is of whatever this challenge is that is coming through here. I feel like it's kind of going into, because you have here the 6 of Swords and the 4 of Wands coming out next. So more of this water, right? It's like, I feel like there is this sort of like perhaps teaching them how to navigate tricky emotional states, perhaps, or like this sort of like choppy waters kind of energy. And with the 4 of Wands, because this card came out under the self-reflection energy, where it's like they are a reflection of you, right? There is this sort of coming together energy that is happening here. But it's kind of like they're still dealing with something, and it could even be just like an emotional tie. So it could be that they're dealing with some sort of past energy or memory of a past whatever situation that left them very emotional, or that just ended in a really it's coming through as the Queen of Swords, 7 of Coins, and this 9 of Cups energy. So it's coming through as being like, so it could be like a past relationship, right? Like this 9 of Cups here to me always talks about sort of like a fun night out, but that perhaps ended really badly. It's like it was fun in the moment when they were in this situation, whatever it was, that it was perceived as being really positive or whatever. But then once they were out of it, it's like it left a really horrible taste in their mouth, or like this Queen of Swords is a tough one. It kind of feels like it was a messy ending. I'm just going to leave it like that. It was a messy ending. It wasn't, perhaps it took from them, or it's like this is what's pulling on them, right? It's like this past memory or whatever it is pulling on them. So it's like this is what they're perhaps healing from, or trying to break free of this energy. Because what it is, it's putting them in this Queen of Cups state, right? It's like this is them underwater. When they're underwater, so to speak, like emotionally overwhelmed, or when they're in their emotions, when they're really feeling their emotions, they're in this sort of like almost being like paralyzed by this energy. Like they can't move, or they can't break free of it, or whatever. But I feel like because this card is representing sort of how they're feeling, but also it's almost like trying to isolate what the problem is. Like this is the problem. Whatever this beast energy is, like this kind of like, it's feeling like whatever's tormenting them. That's such a strong word, but whatever it is that they're trying to battle, this energy, it is being taken care of. It's like, it's getting there. It's moving forward. Because the last time this card came out, it was talking about like some sort of challenge is being neutralized, is how this card came through, especially with this Knight of Coins coming out. Because I feel like, so this Knight of Coins, it is actually kind of feeling like a messenger today, which is really interesting. It's like, I feel this might be you, but I feel like it's not. It kind of feels like it's almost like you cannot interfere directly, is kind of how it's coming through. I don't know why it's coming through like that. It's like, it's kind of like maybe the message wouldn't be received if you were the one delivering it. So it's like you are perhaps doing, like, energetically trying to get through to them, right? But it's kind of like you, for whatever reason, you cannot be the one to interfere or to send the message or to lead them in the right way or whatever. I don't know why, but it's like, it's not energetically you're being asked to surrender the situation. It's not within your control. You can't do anything about this situation to help them or to free them or something like that, or to like whatever. I don't know why. I'm just going to leave it like that because that's how it feels to me. But it's almost like the universe or the situation, or indirectly somebody else, whoever this Knight of Coins is coming in to help them, is how it's coming through, right? It's like this Knight of Coins here is the one that's helping them to neutralize this energy, right? To like process it, or to like release it finally, or to clear it in some way, right? So it's like this influence, whoever this Knight of Coins is almost like a messenger on your behalf in order to get this one to break free of whatever the situation is. So it is perhaps a result of your work energetically, but it's not, you didn't send them, right? You didn't send this person. It's like the universe is sending them on your behalf, is kind of how it's feeling to me. So Pisces, I'm going to end the reading there. We're going to move to the extended. You can find the link for that in the description box below. You'll also find the link to my website if you're interested in a personal reading. If this message resonated with you, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for sharing your energy with me, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.